Welcome, everybody, to Stay Curious. I'm your host, Mark Marquette. So glad that you joined us today as we broadcast live every weekday, Monday through Friday, in our studios inside the American Space Museum in downtown Titusville, Florida. And those of you that have been here, you know I'm not kidding when I say you're in the birth of America's space age when you're in our fabulous museum that's been around for over 25 years. And we've been in this location for 10 years. So thank you all for watching today. I'm going to have Gary Allgire join me here in a few minutes. We're going to talk about 4 shuttles launched on this date, December 2nd. Of course, they weren't all launched on the same day. They were launched a few years apart, many years apart. We'll figure that out. Gary walked in here. Gary, why don't you come on in here, buddy, and we'll get you situated there. Y'all know Gary Allgire. As I'm going to rattle off a couple of the publicity things that we're going to do here. Hi, Gary. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fine.
He's in the middle of another fabulous tour. Where were those people
They were
from?
from Portugal.
Portugal.
Yes.
Wow. Did they speak Portuguese
Yes.
to you?
A little bit. No, they spoke English, and then the gentleman's dad lived in Fort Pierce, I think. Is what she said.
Portugal is one of the hot properties in the world that
Yeah.
some Americans want to go and buy land, including Mitch Rothman, who's going to be on our show Friday, the administrator for NASA Manned Space. Gary, we're going to talk about 4 shuttles that were launched on December 2nd. Quite amazing. Of course, it'd been more amazing if they were all at the same time.
Yes, they were.
Because there's only 2 pads. But we're also going to we're going to look at those, and then Gary's got a little quick special program about the shuttle
Training aircraft, STA.
STA, Shuttle Training Aircraft, that taught the pilots and commanders, of course they're all pilots, how to land at 200 miles an hour and an 18-degree steep slope there. That I was out, and I should have saw Terry Wilcutt today. Marty, I saw Marty out there. Hi, Marty Winkle on our Streamlabs program there. You and I saw Terry Wilcutt. I didn't load up a picture, but what a fine Marine he is, isn't he?
Well, all Marines are.
All Marines are.
Yeah.
Well, there may be
never
some
argue with 'em.
exceptions.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with them. Okay, that's true. No, Terry, twice a pilot, twice a commander. You get a chance to come to Kennedy Space Center and hear his talk. You won't forget it. He really showed pictures inside the Mir Space Station and just pointed at all the stuff around there, which you always wonder, what does a trained eye see, Gary? That's why we have you here today, buddy. But let's thank everyone for watching today, and I'm going to get my phone out. It has been a very hectic day, and everybody knows that I'm just a one-arm paper hanger all the time. Let me get my Streamlabs up here, or not my Streamlabs. Marty's got the Streamlabs. Let me get my YouTube up here, and we can talk to some of you folks. But you see there, Saturday, our Christmas charity auction. Awesome items on there that get your wife on there to buy you something, okay? You probably have everything you need, space
I got
memorabilia.
more than enough I need. Yeah.
That Snoopy poster's up for grabs, okay? Usually goes about $200, not autographed. The ones autographed go for $300 to $400 or more. And then no collection of space memorabilia is complete, unless you've got a piece of a heat shield off of an orbiter. And the one you want to have is STS-1 in that lucite plastic there. So we'll be talking about that Friday, and also on tomorrow. I'll be talking some about it. Who's I got coming on Friday? We've got Mitch Rothman. I've got something. Who I got coming on tomorrow? Who did I talk about? I got Bert Dick coming back a week from Thursday. I may just do the auction because that's an easy show for me. And I've got a couple luncheons to attend simultaneously. Lake County Spaceport is our sponsor of this edition of Stay Curious, your source for all modeling supplies, particularly shuttle and decals. You can't draw or paint the shuttle tile on a model of a shuttle, so you buy them from Lake County Spaceport, and our good friend Steve Jokum, yes, of course, thank you there. I'm getting ahead of myself. Steve, thank you for all you do just to promote the museum, word of mouth as well as financially. He's got buttons ready and patches and more stuff for Shuttle Fest 5, and we're 7 months away from it. But this is what I'm talking about. That's how you make your models look snappy and real, is you buy the decals from Lake County Spaceport up there in Illinois on the shores of the lake up there. And now I see, excuse all chiming in there. Excuse me, there's Steve. A busy day of snow removal and a last day of printing more shuttle tile decals for the Lake County Spaceport. And that's what you've been doing today, buddy. That's why I picked that up there. Doug Force is in Los Angeles. No snow there, I hope. They're really getting hammered up in New England. I was talking to Chris Callie, our artist friend, and his the phone kept dropping out.
Oh, really?
Okay, yeah, they've got a big storm going on up there. Tommy Usiak's watching, and Rosalie Jubilee, Dave Stangy, hello buddy, Dean Babcock, Tom Celentano, Mostly Park, Mark Thell, Dave Stangy, and Cliff Watson. And hope you're feeling better today. Cliff battling prostate cancer down there in Pomona, Australia. He sat in this chair 4 times on Stay Curious. So, what else have I got to talk about here? Oh, yeah, one more thing about Lake County Spaceport. There's how you make your solar panels on your space station look real. So, Steve's a great partner. He's got a great product, and he gives a portion of his profits each year to the American Space Museum. So, step it up, everybody else. You know you want to help us out, and you all do, and we appreciate that. But what we're going to talk about, oh, yeah, a little bit of bragging rights. Look at this. I didn't show you this. I just showed Marty about 15 minutes ago. Stay Curious is now an official patented trademark, okay? The artwork there that you see is now patented. We're so proud of that. And Al Kohler was behind that. This is artwork done by one of our former employees, Darren Roberts. He had our STEAM program for a few years until we lost the grant for that. But good job there, Darren. And this is something that will live on through our museum. Stay Curious is not just branded to our podcast, it can be branded to anything. So, official trademark given from the United States Trademark Office came through the internet today. So, and you all own a piece of that, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that's watched the show, Gary, and contributed their own comments and so forth. You do own a piece of this, and we're proud of it. In fact, there was some question of whether we'd get it because there were some 20 other Stay Curious
Oh, really?
entities out there, and none of them had applied for a trademark. And we got it. So we'll start working that up there. Well, here is the 4 launches. Some of these are by not the Usiak brothers, and maybe one's by Carlton Bailey. CB, are you watching today? We just had a big rain here about a half hour ago. He might be rained under up there. I don't see Carlton Bailey joining today, but we got STS-27, okay, which was Atlantis, and boy, was that an infamous launch. We'll talk about that in a moment. Those guys were lucky to come back alive. There's no doubt about it. Right, Gary?
Yep. That's true.
Department of Defense mission, STS-53, another DOD mission. And then STS-60, 36, 35. 35 was, I'm dyslexic. 35 was launched on December 2nd. That is a Astro 1. Then, to be dyslexic, 53 was launched in 1992. That was another top secret clandestine Department of Defense. Did you work on that one? 53 with Bob Cabana and
No.
Dave Walker was the commander.
No.
Bluford and Voss and Mike Clifford.
I wasn't responsible for putting those payloads in anymore. I had moved over to a different position with NASA, and somebody else had to do that.
And STS-63 61 in 1993, of course, that is the first Hubble big repair mission, okay, to fix the Hubble. And so we'll look at these real quickly. 1988 for 27, 1990 for 35, 53 was in 92, and then back-to-back years, 93 went up to repair the Hubble telescope. So we'll live some memories of that here and look at the patches, of course. Here are other shuttles orbiting the Earth on December 2nd. I added up something like 75 humans would be orbiting simultaneously if you added them all up, not counting the Russian Mir and all the ISS crews up there, talking about the short duration crews up there. So kind of cool to think about these other missions up there. 113 on the far right, that's our friend John Harrington, doing well there. And December's full of a lot of activity. There's all the astronauts of these missions orbiting the Earth on this day. Okay. And we're not talking about the 4 launched today. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shuttles and 1 Skylab 3/4 orbiting the Earth on this date in space history. And Story Musgrave's last mission. Okay. Look at him sheepishly up there in the upper right-hand corner. His last is 6th up there. Tom Jones and Tammy Jernigan. They did not get to do their spacewalk. I'll be seeing Tom Jones on
Just a minute. The in that picture there, the 2 that are in blue, those are pre-Challenger flights, and everything else after that is post-Challenger.
Yes, great observation there. The blue, I've heard, well, Charlie Walker calls it the blue bag that they wear.
Yeah.
That's STS-9 and 61B. Okay, and then you had 80 and 87 and 113. And also 44 landed on this date. Just sometimes space just juxtaposes on a date, and you're like drinking from a fire hose, trying to figure out what we're going to share with you all today. So, and Skylab, kind of the forgotten element of America's great space program, wouldn't you say?
Yep. Definitely.
From ASTP. You were already working on ASTP? You didn't work any Skylab, did you?
I did. I worked all 3 Skylabs.
Oh, doing what?
I was in flying with the Air Force on the rescue team during those 3 missions.
Mm-hmm.
And probably I did work on the spacecraft. I don't. They all come together now, but I was still working in the spacecraft division at that time.
Well, let's look at a couple of these in depth. I actually got a Marty this is some old slides that I racked up. But this is something cool that we have in our museum, the real hardware that watched the fueling of the space station. Mm-hmm. That's something. When you show people that, what do you tell them about?
Well, it's the ET tank that you're showing there. It's not the space station, but
right. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I just point out that this is we've got really upgraded from the Apollo program because we didn't have the large screen colored CRTs, and then we had a keyboard in front of us now and a trackball where we could actually write our programs, and they could also interact with the programs as they're being run.
I got you there. Look at us. Any comments there? You got some questions? Let us know. Hit the like button, like Steve Jokums is saying there. Freeway of Another there's sending a bunch of love and laughter. Okay, yeah. He must be laughing at my mistakes here as I'm stumbling over myself. So, but we're very proud of this. Is part of the console. This is about 1/3 of it that you see there. Marty's space trivia question of the day. Go ahead, buddy.
How many times was there a space shuttle simultaneously on pads 39A and 39B? Was it 5, 12, or 18?
What you think, Gary?
I'd say 5.
5?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll get you the answer, and remind me, Marty, because I didn't put another slide in there. We'll get you the answer to that and why we talking about that, because here's STS-35. The uh, uh, Astro 1 telescope and STS. Uh, what's the other one passing there? My notes don't say it, Marty. I guess you don't see it there on the slide either. But two shuttles passed there. Somebody tell me what 35 is, probably 37, 36. My shuttle scroll might tell me here if I could figure it out. Let's go to the scroll. Fetch the scroll. 37 was the one that they put out there, the Gamma Ray Observatory. It was launched in 35 was December 2nd, 1990. No, that'd have been 38 is what they've been out there, because 38 launched on 11/15, and then they Astro 1 on another was launched on, of course, December 2nd. But I believe it's a high number there, quite frankly. But what a beautiful sight! I love when I see one 25 on the pad and STS 400 in the distance there. Endeavor, in case they need to save it there. Well, let's look at a couple of these launches here. STS 27, where's my mission patch handbook? And let's talk about how simple this is. Yet this would be an iconic, this is one of these patches that without a little hand of fate, you'd probably have this burned into your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like Challenger and Columbia's patch. The STS-26 patch depicts the space shuttle lifting off against the multicolored backdrop of a rainbow, symbolizing the triumphal return to flight of our nation's manned space program. Of course, 26 was the real return to flight after Challenger on September 29th, 1988, and then December 2nd, 88 on this mission. The design commemorates the memory of the crew of Challenger mission STS-51L, represented by the 7 stars. The names of the flight crew members are located along the border of the patch, and each crew member contributed to the design of the insignia. Yeah, right. Not much to contribute there. Yeah, Gibson, he chose the red, and Mullane the orange, and Ross the blue in there. Marty, we've seen Gardner talk many times out there. You've seen Mr. Guy Gardner out there that was the pilot. He doesn't talk about this much. Go ahead, Marty.
I was just waiting for you to ask me a question. But
Well, have you ever? I have not really heard. Guy Gardner is an excited speaker, and he talks to the audience like, "Give me an adjective for liftoff. Give me an adjective for a spacewalk," and they all throw it right. They all throw adjectives out there. But I've never asked him about this. Have you? I heard him talk about it.
I have not.
Well, what happened was, tell us what happened. You were there. Tell us what happened on liftoff
Left off.
on 27.
Oh my! I don't remember 27.
Something
I'm
came
sorry.
off. They felt on the right hand side things hitting the shuttle on the way up. They could physically feel the impact of
Foam?
the ET shedding its something on that.
Yeah, foam. Yeah.
Yeah, foam on there, and then there was some. But this was a Department of Defense mission, so they didn't have high resolution photos. They didn't want to give away what they were taking up
Oh,
there. But Hoot Gibson was the commander, and he describes the crew as infuriated that Mission Control seemed unconcerned about what they felt hitting the fuselage of this spaceship. And then they saw the damage, and he thought that we were going to die. He and others did not believe the shuttle would survive re-entry. Gibson advised the crew to relax because no use dying all tensed up. But if instruments indicated the shuttle was disintegrating, Gibson planned to tell Mission Control what I thought of their analysis in the remaining seconds before his death. All right. Mullane said he had visions of molten aluminum being smeared backwards like rain on the windshield. And when they landed, let's get into that. There's the crew. I love this shot. Okay. Who would have been below there? Would have been That's Guy Gardner on the left, Hoot Gibson. We got a chance of having Hoot Gibson at Shuttle Fest 5.
Well, there's too many up there.
folks.
If that's for that can't be reentry.
Well, the fifth one came up from below, and I think that's Shepard. Yeah, that's Shepard.
Because normally
So
it's just
he,
four.
he was below. Yeah, they always have 4 up there. This was for the picture
Yeah.
in there, but now they're on there. So there's the landing, and as you can see, along under the nose and into the back was some damage on there. And this was the luckiest place on there where Marty's pulling me out something there. Oh, good one, Marty. Why don't you zoom in on this? Yeah.
I noticed that I had him sign it last week. And he spoke about
Oh,
that.
let me change the officials and crew members get a close-up of the damaged tiles on the starboard side of Atlantis following landing at Rogers Dry Lake Bed. You got James Fletcher there, Putty, Director of Operations, Mullane, Shepard, Truly, NASA Administrator, Assistant NASA Administrator. Nope, there we go. Yeah. A red NASA photo signed by Guy Gardner, and look at them looking at that.
The reason though I didn't have a burn through is there was a ground plate for an antenna that was behind that, and that kept it from being
Thank you,
burned
Marty.
through.
And right there's this ground plate.
Yep.
Had this ground plate not been there, had that plate not been there for an antenna, there's some speculation if the second flight after losing Challenger, we lose a shuttle, the whole program would have been shut down. What do you think, Gary?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, the mood of the Congress and the news people
Thank you, Marty.
were definitely against the program, so it wouldn't have taken much to completely shut it down.
The damage was much worse than any of us had expected. A magnitude of the damage to the shuttle astonished NASA. Over 700 damaged tiles were noted. One tile was missing altogether, again located over the L-band antenna, one of 6 part of the TACAN landing system, TACAN. There was almost no damage on the orbiter's left side. And this was the most damaged vehicle, Atlantis, ever returned to Earth successfully. Okay. And so there's that. This happened, when they landed, of course, it was launched today. So close call. Now, I have heard Jerry Ross talk about this mission because Jerry Ross, we got another picture of them. We got it landing. There it is landing. Let me go to the picture back here. Trying to get to Astro 1. Yeah. Jerry Ross sitting there in the middle. He is credited with 10 spacewalks, but I've been to a couple events and a luncheon that he was at, and he did an 11th spacewalk, he said, and he's mad that he don't get credit for it because it was a Department of Defense mission. He can't claim it as a mission because it would give away something that maybe he did on this DoD mission. I don't have the payload in front of me, what it was. Gary, you signed all kinds of non-disclosure documents. You tell me that you read it in a magazine what the DoD payload was, yet you still can't tell me what it is.
No, but I did. Even though I wasn't responsible for putting it in, I had ops guys that were working for me that were doing that, and I had to go out and cover one of their shifts, and I did see the payload while I was in the orbiter.
And what was it?
It was a very interesting payload, but that's all I can say.
Now this is during the days after President Reagan's Star Wars program, and that President Bush, his vice president, took over. So there was 10 DoD missions, and I'm trying to put a program together that there's no coincidence that this Star Wars technology may or may not have been in the payloads, but what it did was bankrupted Russia to keep up with us.
Yes,
that was the whole idea, right?
Yeah.
Was to make them think we were doing something that maybe we were or weren't. But and of course the Berlin Wall came down during this shortly after these DoD missions, and It's the people that I want to talk about it won't talk about it. Okay, including Jim Adamson, astronaut that was
Yeah.
very involved with DoD
Yes,
missions.
yeah.
So, but I'm on the right track, right?
I'm not going to say.
Okay, all right.
I'm like,
He still gets a good pension, guys. They
yeah,
don't want him mentioned.
yeah, I don't, you know, yeah.
Uh, all right. Yes, Jokums, I knew you'd find the answer for me there. He's saying that the impacts were from one of the SRBs, and I'm not sure exactly what fell off the SRBs to hit them, but I know you're probably right there.
Well, he's saying heat shield material.
Okay.
Heat shield material, huh?
Uh,
That's
yes, as we're saying, Dean Babcock, the shuttle program would have been canceled, no doubt, by Congress. They couldn't take the
No.
public opinion of killing 12 astronauts in
Well,
3 years, and
yeah. Well, unfortunately, we lost Columbia, but they also we continued the program on, but it was dead ended. You know, they knew had an end coming. That
Marty's got a question there.
Yeah, mostly Park is asking, there's not much anyone could do, correct?
that is correct. At the time, we didn't have a repair kit.
Right. Yeah, no repair kit.
It's
They
very
could see some of the. They must have had a robotic arm, and you know that, and I don't, because they did see some of the damage. They could probably see out the window there some, but they'd have to get underneath there to see it. And maybe Jerry Ross, you know, who knows what he did to look at it. But they were ready to die, no doubt about that. And Hugh Gibson's got a book coming out that this spring that we might have Hoot at our Shuttle Fest signing that book. Well, let's move on to the second of 4 launches here, and I'll scoot along with these as we got. That was one to really talk about. Astro 1, okay, launched on this date, STS-35. The first space telescope system put in space. 3 universities were involved with this. And the patch symbolizes the space shuttle orbiter flying above the Earth's atmosphere to better study many celestial objects of the universe, represented by the constellation Orion. The 3 stars of his belt, the upper 2 stars are his shoulder, the little ones is his head, the 2 on the bottom is his knee, and you got 3 coming down. That's the belt of Orion. That's depicted very accurately. So the payload was ultraviolet telescopes and an X-ray telescope. 2, 4, and the Guy Gardner also was part of this flight. So he was launched twice on December 2nd. We'll have to ask him about that. Guy's out there quite a bit. A 8-day mission, a lot of good science. In some of these, one of these telescopes is now at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville.
Oh, really?
By our good friend Mikey Haddad and Scott Bongan would have been an astronaut had there been an Astro 3. They spearheaded all that. Vance Brand was the great person there that did it. In the center there, Vance Brand is, I think, 92 years old. On the left side of him, our left, is John Lounge. He passed away. Sam Durant's. Where's John? Sam's in the upper right-hand corner, and he's passed away. And I think Ron Parise, yes, also passed away in there. Robert Parker's in the middle there. So somebody's calling me there on my phone. Sorry, can't answer that call from Tennessee right now. All right, Astro 1, there it is, packed away in the payload bay. Did you see it in the payload bay? Have anything to do with that mission, Mr.
No.
Allgire?
Nope.
All right. Well, we'll move on to another DoD mission launched on this date, from 35 to 53. You can't make that up. All right, spin 35 around, then we got 53 launched on this date. And this is a guy I'd really like to know more about. He's always warm and friendly to me. Pilot Bob Cabana, Dave Walker's the commander. He passed away of cancer. STS-53 shows the Space Shuttle Discovery rising to new achievements as it trails the symbol of the astronaut office against a backdrop of an American flag. The 5 stars and 3 stripes also symbolize the mission number 53. 5 stars, 3 stripes. I love that kind of hidden meaning. And America's continuing commitment to world leadership in space. The pentagonal shape of the patch, did y'all catch that? Represents the Department of Defense, the famous building in Washington, D.C., in its support of the Space Shuttle program. The band delineating the flag from the space includes 4 colors of the military services of the crew members. All right, that's the band going on the outer thing there. So this was the 5th DoD mission in 1992, and Discovery's 15th mission. Kind of a long DoD mission from December 2nd to December 12th. December 10th. So a full week in space there with Guy Bluford, James Voss, and Mike Clifton, and maybe somebody there did an EVA they get credit for. There's the crew there at the test conducting day. I would say that's where the buckets were that day.
Okay, and I did work that one.
And
can't tell you.
See, can't tell you.
I can't
All
tell
right.
you. Yeah, we put
Neither
the
can
payload
Bob
in.
Cabana. Well, this Bob Cabana's a nice guy, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
But-
And Guy Bluford, I think this was his 3rd or 4th flights, the first African American in space. And there is the one picture they could release, okay, which is a very iconic picture of the space age, okay. The image, the stabilizer there, obviously that looks like, that's the Nile River right there below them, and Egypt and all that there. Yep, that looks Sinai Peninsula above it there. Gorgeous picture there. All right, let's get to the final launch of this date in space history. Everybody's favorite, one of their favorites, this STS-61. This was the first Hubble telescope servicing mission. All right, the Hubble telescope deployed earlier in 1993 was nearsighted. The mirror hadn't been checked out properly. It was ground wrong. An incredible faux pas, particularly after Hubble was stored for about 2 years because of the Challenger accident. Well, this is the astronaut symbol superimposed against the sky underneath the Earth, along with 2 circles which represent the optical configuration of the Hubble telescope. Then that's the way it comes down. It's like light is focused by reflections from a large primary mirror into a smaller secondary mirror. The Space Shuttle Endeavour is also representative as the fundamental tool that allows us to perform the first servicing mission of the Hubble telescope, so that its scientific deep space mission may continue for years to come. Years to come, it continued for decades to come. The overall design of the emblem, with lines converging to a high point, is also symbolic representation of the large-scale Earth-based effort which involves space agencies, industry, and universities to reach goals of knowledge and perfection. The crew designed this mission. Dick Covey was the commander. There's the walkout by probably MarQ. It'd be Tommy if it was a USAC, but maybe you did this, CB. In the front, there's Richard Covey and Ken Bowersox. Story Musgrave is in there. You don't see Kathy Thornton. She's hidden by Jeffrey Hoffman. Tom Akers and Claude Nicollier are in there. So 2, 4, 6, 7 crew members launched on this date, December 2nd, 1993 at 4:27 a.m. And they stayed up there for 11 days. And this was the focus guy of the whole mission, Story Musgrave. Those of you that have met this man, like I have many times, pretty amazed at human being.
He's very amazing. I've watched his explaining his life growing up and doing what he did, and it's amazing.
Yeah, his
Absolutely.
book's a good one. It's called Story.
Yeah.
I see George Smith's joined us from New Jersey. Hey, George, thank you so much.
Yeah.
for staying curious with us. Um, I got to spend 5 days with Story at the Winter Star Party in the Florida Keys. He was a speaker down there. He just hung out with everybody, looked through telescopes,
Okay.
ate.
Yeah.
Really, really, just such a. He is. He knows he's super smart. He got like what 6 doctorate degrees.
He's a brain surgeon too.
Yeah, he's done that. He was a trauma center.
Yeah.
But he said if we're going to fix this telescope, okay, we have to rehearse every move that we're making in that payload bay, just like a ballet. Every foot, every hand, everything has to be
It's perfect.
known where we're going to do it before we do it. We just can't go up there and reinvent this, all right? And the other thing he wanted that he talked about several times when I was around him was he wanted a come along to take with him to space. What's a come along, you ask? That is a chain with hooks on the end
Yeah.
that you can ratchet to tighten up something on each end and bring them together.
Yep.
He was a farm boy. NASA bucked him. Nah, we're not going to send it up there. No. What are you going to use that for? He goes, I don't know. But I want one because we may have to need
Use
one.
Yeah.
And you know when he got up there, he commented he couldn't believe the claw marks on the door to open up where the optical guts were going to be replaced. And it was designed like that, the Hubble. And when they got up there, it had claw marks on it from engineers hammering it to close it.
Really?
Yes, and when he opened it up, it sprung open, and if he hadn't had that come along, he said he wouldn't have been able to shut it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he was a little buffooned at how
Yeah,
the Hubble outside had been treated with not like your usual spacecraft.
That is unusual for a especially something like that. That's uncalled for, really.
Well, I've heard him talk about it several times. So Story Musgrave, and then here's the EVA. Okay, so he's really the architect of the future of EVAs at the space station and everything. That you really had to be disciplined in that neutral buoyancy tank north of Houston, where all the training did in there. You had to know what you were doing because you can get spun around quickly. And of course, here's the drama unfolding in the payload bay. They replaced solar panels that they'd upgraded already. After all, by the time this got to space, it was already a 10-year-old telescope, technology wise. So the solar panels had been increased. And here's our girl, Kathy Thornton. Okay, love Kathy Thornton, and I've had the privilege to talk to her many times also. She's a wonderful speaker at the Astronaut Encounter, but I've seen her at a couple other events. Hopefully one day she's going to be giving us her boxes of stuff she told me she's got in the basement. She came up to me at the Scholarship Foundation this summer and said, Mark, what do I do with all the boxes of stuff I have in the basement? Yes, you put 308 Pine Street on it. Attention me, and I'll take care of the rest. I did ask her something interesting because she did 2 spacewalks on the Hubble. Did she take anything off the Hubble, like a nut or bolt, and put it in her pocket?
Yeah.
And she said, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I said, well, that's not what's, who told me they did? Joe Tanner. That's not what Joe Tanner told me. Joe Tanner wouldn't tell me what he took off the Hubble. But he says, I got something really cool. But she's didn't do that. But what she did do, Gary, is one of the most iconic images of the entire shuttle era. And she is very proud of this. That's Kathy Thornton at the end of the robotic arm, tossing into space the used up solar panel that would not roll up. Okay, the other one rolled up like a Venetian blind. This would not roll up on each side into that orange tube there. So they said, well, it's going to burn up. Just why don't you give it a good heave down away from the shuttle, and that'll take care of stuff. And when she does her talk, she always shows this video. This is a snap of off the video. And she's pretty proud of that, and I would be too. And it flaps away like a bird flying away.
Yeah, it did. Yes.
You see it go away like that. Awesome, iconic image of the shuttle. And she likes to be associated with that. She also likes being associated with our museum, as this is the blue suit that the work clothes that the astronauts wore. that she gave us a few years ago in there, and we proudly display it in our Karen Conklin Women's in Space Gallery with some other wonderful artifacts now there, like Did I Tell You We Have? And of course, that's a joke because I tell everybody we've got Nicole Stott's sleeping bag that she slept 90 days in on the right hand, and her workout shoes are in the case in there. And we got a piece of Chris Callie's beautiful artwork celebrating um, Eileen Collins. Thank you very much there. And that's Eileen's pink large polo shirt there. And of course, we've got the handprints of Sally Ride, Eileen Collins, and Kathy Sullivan on the left there. So hope that you can come and see our beautiful women's gallery someday. All right, that's it for the shuttles of the month there. And Gary, I'm going to turn it over to you, my friend, to take us out today with a
few minutes to talk about the Shuttle Training Aircraft, which would fly over our buildings here during those days. In fact, it was kind of a joy walking from the ONC building over to the headquarters and actually see this aircraft come flying down to do their landing. So we're going to talk a little bit about it. This is a Gulfstream II. And by the way, all this stuff I'm going to talk about is from a podcast that Ward Carroll put out a few days ago. And he's an ex Tomcat pilot at F-14. And he actually got a chance to fly along in here with one of the other astronauts that he knew. And he explains the landing sequence, which is quite interesting. But the Gulfstream II has to be modified to simulate an orbiter during re-entry. And what they have done is the first thing is the thrust. Go back to the original.
Okay, yeah, tell me in advance.
The thrust reducers for on the engines are put in the open position to create drag as they come down. And then also they have modified the landing gear system so that only the main gear is extended and the nose wheel is not. And then the next thing that they also had to do to simulate, let's go to the next picture, is they had to modify the flaps on the vehicle to compensate for what he explains here is that when they normally do the pilot pulls back on the stick, the nose will raise up because the center of rotation is in the middle of the aircraft by the gear. But on the shuttle, go to the next picture. The point of rotation is at the nose, so when he pulls back on the stick, the nose does not come up, but the back aft end comes down. So they had to compensate for that by taking the flaps on the wings. And normally they are used when you come in for a landing or takeoff to give you additional lift and some drag. And what they did on this one is they made them so that they could also be flipped up. And that would also counteract this motion that they see on the shuttle. This is the layout of the interior of the Gulfstream. The right-hand side is where the NASA instructor sits. He has a regular set of controls that came on the Gulfstream. And on the left, it's been modified to resemble the cockpit of a shuttle. This is a later shuttle because we have the glass cockpits in it. And you can see the stick between his legs that controls the vehicle. It has a heads-up display that he will be monitoring. And then, of course, the center console represents what's in the shuttle itself.
Mm-hmm. They don't have the entire cockpit in
there,
not because they wouldn't need it to open the payload bay door.
No. This is practice landing.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
And then here's one of the pilots, astronauts actually in fully suited up, learning how to do these landings, and they do many of them in one day. The profile that they do is when the shuttle comes in from orbit, it passes over the shuttle runway at 80,000 feet. And then they do go into what they call I forget how often I have it.
80,000 feet is, that's That's 15 miles.
Yeah, they come
like
in
15
high,
miles.
and they'll do a loop around, come back around, and it's called a hack, and it's all based on energy. the computer is looking at what the energy has what the shuttle has, knows where the landing point is, and what they will do is try to control all amount of energy so that they can make it in there. If they're behind, then he will make that on the hack. He will turn a tighter circle to get him to match up with the landing where he's got the touchdown point is. If he's got more energy than he really needs, then he'll do a wider turnaround as he comes back in and lands. And for the,
It's a glider. Just wanted to
Yeah, there's no-
repeat. This is
there's
a
no-
glider. No
yeah.
active images. It is falling like a brick
Yeah.
from the sky.
Now, when they use the STA, what they do is they initiate the reentry at 40,000 feet, and the shuttle has a vertical speed of 4,000 feet per minute. That's how fast it's falling. Okay, and they'll initiate that, and the NASA pilot will turn over the command to the astronaut, and he will fly it down and land it. Well, actually, he doesn't land. When they get to 20 feet altitude, he passes the control back over to the NASA pilot, and they will go ahead and climb out and climb up to 40,000 feet and then repeat this. And they'll do it as long as he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, this is looking through the heads-up display. It says this is how he pointed this out. In the center of the picture, you see a little round dot, and then there's a little vertical tail that kind of sticks out there, and there's some really sharp wings. He calls them spikes. It sticks out to the side, and it just those two, I call triangles. They're called carrots officially. And on the left is his airspeed indication over there, and on the right is altitude. So you see the runway up there in the top part of the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now he's coming in at from 40,000 feet. And we're going to need to go to the next slide. And he also has control of his speed by using the rudder speed brake, which is on his left hand. He's on a throttle, and he can control the opening and closing of the rudder speed brake. Now, what it was not mentioned in the article is that the body flap also is operated at the same time, because the rudder speed brakes are way up on the vertical tail. It's way above the center line of the orbiter. So when they open up, they'll have a tendency to pitch the shuttle up, and which is what they don't want to do. So the body flap comes down to kind of react that to keep it in a steady position.
Mm-hmm.
Now here he's decluttered the let me go back one more. Let's see if we got, okay, go ahead, go forward again. He's decluttered the information. So all he has on his left is airspeed in knots, and then he has altitude in feet. What he wants to do is, will be coming into screen, will be two more carrots. And let's go ahead to the next screen.
301 miles an hour.
That's knots.
Knots.
Which,
How do you convert knots?
well, let's do the calculator, see.
At 4,200 feet, a little above a mile, and going just under 300 miles an hour.
Let me get to the calculator.
What's the ratio? What's the?
You just put it into there. 300 knots. Clear that.
Yeah.
That's 186 miles an hour.
Okay.
And then,
Seems a little slow.
yeah, but he's dropping at 4,000 feet a minute.
Okay.
And okay, now you see two carrots or two triangles down at the bottom, just above the left hand. I can't read the speed.
Uh-huh.
And what he wants to do is,
Right
he comes in.
Goes right there.
Yeah. He wants to, when those two come up and touch the carrots that you see on the wings, that's when he does the flare.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you're waiting for this?
Yeah,
to match
he's
this
coming up,
here.
and he's
right there.
And it's a very hard thing to do, according to
Flare up.
to this gentleman, this Flo. He says they can do a simulation while on the ground in the airplane, and they'll set him in a seat, and he got to do a simulation. He did several of them, and he was always late in pulling back on the flare, but then he got out. Of course, the astronaut got in his seat, and then he just watched them doing these flights. Next slide. Okay, now they have
Yeah, so we've gone
engaged.
from there
Yeah,
to where they're up there now.
yeah, and now that's when he performs his flare. And at this time also, they will start the shuttle pilot had already armed the landing gear system by pushing a button, and that arms it. And then when he get to this at this altitude here at 300 feet, he then pushes the button again to lower the landing gear, and it is gravity dropped.
What's the what surfaces of the orbiter actuate the flare?
The aero surfaces, the elevons in the back.
Yeah, so that makes it go up. when
Yeah,
they pull.
that'll actually it makes the bottom come back a little bit, but yeah, it'll come up. So
Okay.
it does the flare. The gear has come down. Like I said, there's gravity dropped.
The pilot's responsibility is to hit the button for
Yeah,
the
he
gear.
he does two things. He gives out the airspeed indication as they're coming down, and then also he deploys the gear.
Okay.
And here's at touchdown.
California.
Yeah, touchdown here.
Those are mountains in the distance there. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the drag chute will come out as soon as the main wheel is on the ground. And now he'll keep the nose up as long as the airflow across the wings and the body will allow it. And then when it gets too slow, it will actually drop down onto the front wheel.
Here we are.
And that'll complete a landing. And but like I say, in the real life, they will go ahead and abort and at 20 feet and then fly back up to do another run. And
They abort at 20 feet?
well, not him, but when
the
he's
trainer.
when he's in the trainer, they will at 20 feet, the NASA instructor will take over and he will close the reverse thrusters on the engines, and then he will power back up to 40,000 feet, and then he'll turn it back over to the astronaut, and then they'll just do that whole sequence again, and they'll do it all day long till they run out of fuel, get close to a low fuel load.
Where do they do this at, Gary?
They do it they do it
What
here
airport?
a lot. They do it here at KSC,
Okay.
and I don't know whether they did it at JSC or out at Edwards Air Force Base. They did it there too before they actually started landing here at Kennedy, but they definitely did them here because I saw them come in a couple of times.
Well, the next shuttle pilot / commander I've talked to, I'll be asking them about this training on that. It's very, very essential. I think I've heard astronauts say they had to have 1,000 landings before they even were considered to be a pilot in this thing.
That's quite a few.
Yeah, there's quite a few, but I'm pretty sure Cabana said that. That's why.
That's a lot.
That's why they were saying it through some training and you really just had to get it just automatic.
Center on be on the center line. There are some horizontal red lights and a white dot that he has to line up to off to the left of the runway that he sees as he comes in. But the main thing is two little carrots coming up, and when they touch the other ones, then that's when he does his flare.
Very interesting. Something Gary Allgire can talk about after the 2 DoD missions launched today in space history. That you'll go to your grave with some secrets there, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, Marty, I know we've got a bunch of good questions from our intelligent fandom out there. Take it away on that UCAC family microphone.
I have two questions right now. One from Dean Babcock. Would you know who some of the flight instructors were for the shuttle training aircraft?
No.
Okay. And next question is from Gary Gerald. What's the difference in airspeed on final approach from the STA to the orbiter?
It's supposed to be the same. It actually mimicked what a shuttle be flying. It goes from 4,000 feet vertical descent to when they touch down, it's at 4 feet touchdown vertical speed.
And the speed that Tim Wilcott talked about today was they went from 300 miles an hour to 200. Was about the landing speed.
Well,
it could have been
landing,
under 200.
Landing speed that I calculated based on that was 130 miles an hour.
That's way too slow. Something's
That's
wrong
faster
there.
than any other airplane that lands. I've always heard it was
Well, Terry
120.
was just saying today that most jets that he flew landed at about 135, 150 miles an hour, and that the shuttles was around 200 miles an
Well,
hour.
I've heard
So,
that too. I've heard 200, but according to this,
yeah, okay.
if you look at what he said, it was
Not gonna. No, it's,
I don't know. I mean, it could be, but that's supposed to be simulates the actual
good.
mission. And if you look at the touchdown, it was a
Well,
couple.
maybe it wasn't knots they were, or would they always use knots?
They always use knots. I just converted it over. So knots wise, yes, it could be 290 knots.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get. I saw one other good question there. Um, and Tommy Usiak says John McBride was the original commander of this mission. Which mission you talking about there, Tommy? 27. But I saw somebody asked a good question there. Something about how do you choose?
Yeah,
Okay, about being an engineer.
yeah. Dean Babcock is asking, how was it determined which mission an engineer would work on?
You mean from a NASA standpoint?
I would think so. Yeah.
Well, engineer NASA
How did an engineer end up working on the project that they were working on?
depends on what
Like
system
yourself.
that they became an expert in. You can have a mechanical engineer working fluids if you wanted to. That option was available to you if you could learn that system. We've had guys that came out of fuel cells that were working with me, working tile, or working in our shop, working blankets. So as an engineer is an engineer. So NASA considers once you have that engineering degree, we can put you anywhere and we'll just train you to that system that you're going to be working on. That's how the NASA did that. Now the contractor may have a different set of requirements, but
No, they're very similar.
yeah, very similar. So if I chose to, well, I became a project engineer, so I ended up having to know more about the computers and stuff, which was really a struggle for me at the time. But
Yeah, we hired a lot of math majors, and they became programmers.
yeah, we had one lady that came in that had a degree in math and a master's in science, computer science, and she worked flight crew systems, which was putting the clothes in the stowing in the vehicle. But she did very well. She became a flow manager for one of the OPFs.
Excellent. Gary Allgire, always willing to answer your questions. We may have him on Thursday. I
Okay.
think you can do Thursday.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little about Artemis 2, as we could be within 2 or 3 months of Artemis 2 launching for a loop around the moon. And Gary and I are going to talk about this mission. Is it really worth doing? And what are we going to learn? And how does it relate to the moon landing of Artemis 3? That obviously is going to be pushed back. But anyway, look forward to that with you. Marty, got anything else there?
Couple of comments. Wait a minute, let me find. Mostly Park said 301 knots is equal to 346 miles per hour.
No, that's not right. 300 knots?
We'll get everybody converting knots to miles per hour here before the show's over. I don't know what the secret is on that. I just barely learned Celsius to Fahrenheit.
Yeah, and
According to the calculator, it's 300 knots is 186.41 miles per hour.
and Tom Usack is saying Astro 1 McBride was the original CDR.
Tom Usiak said what? Looking at my phone.
Astro 1 McBride was the original CDR, original commander.
Yeah, I mentioned that. Of which one he said?
Astro 1.
Oh, Astro 1. Okay. Don't know why John didn't get that command there. Vance Brand did.
Maybe I got it wrong.
Anyway, we'll work all that out there together there. Thank you, Gary, for being on here today. All right.
You got your trivia question.
Oh, yeah, we got the trivia question, which is, let's Did anybody answer that trivia question? Let me
No,
go
but
back to that images
yeah,
there.
nobody answered it, but I'm not sure we had the right answer. I double checked us, and one site says it was 17, and one site said 19, which averages out to 18. So,
Yeah, we've got 18 down there, but it is 17, 18, or 19. Okay. They might not count the 400 being out there to as the rescue ship on 125, but yes, a lot more than you thought. Okay, with shuttles occupying 2 launch pads is the part we wanted to get with Marty's trivia question there. Thank you so much, everyone contributing there for our missions of today. We're so proud that thanks to you, we are trademarked. Stay curious. Got the paperwork here, and it's all because of you and you, Gary, and you, Marty, and other people out there that continually want this programming. After all, we're up to about 1,370 episodes about now. I'll figure out when we hit 1,400 and let you all know about that. But thank you so much today for watching. And there's Steve Jokums' solar panels at Lake County Spaceport. There's how you put tile on your beautiful shuttle models. He's got them for all of the sizes there. This is his website there, showing off some of Steve's excellent work there. Another fabulous friend of our museums, just like you all. And go today to our charity auction, bid on things today. The final gavel will fall at noon tomorrow. Noon Saturday. And we'll be talking about some of these lots in detail on tomorrow's Stay Curious program. Thursday, Gary will be back, and we'll take on a little bit like, what are we going to learn from Artemis 2? Why are we doing this mission? And I want it to be a success, and I want all 4 astronauts to come home safely. But there just seem, I'm scratching my head. How about you?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Why are we doing that? Yes.
It has nothing to do with the architecture of landing on the moon.
No.
We're doing another wave of the moon from 6,500 miles.
Yeah.
I might as well say that I'm going to Paris as I'm waving at it 6,000 miles from here.
I don't know. There may be some scientific reason for doing what they're doing, but we circled the moon, we landed on the moon, so I don't know why we can only loop around the moon.
And what the Artemis architecture to land on the moon is going over the poles and doing a polar orbit.
Yeah.
All right. And we're going to talk some about that on Thursday a little bit, because I think the American public is very confused about what this whole thing really looks like. And it's smart space geeks like you watching today that do know a lot about it. But then sometimes, you're like, you get caught up in, really? We're not orbiting the moon. We're only like 6,500 miles away from it. There's no telephoto lenses being taken on Artemis 2. They're going to use zoom lenses. It seems very interesting at best. So we'll take that on. All right.
Okay.
So auction this Saturday. We'll talk about that tomorrow. And then we're looking forward to Gary on Thursday and Mitch Rothman on Friday. So thank you, Marty. Anything to button up over there?
nope, we're good.
Show off the greatest logo of all, my Grumman logo on one of my favorite shirts there. That's a cool logo, right?
Yeah, sure is.
Which one's your favorite one?
Oh, it's a NASA one.
The NASA one. All right. Where his paycheck comes
Yeah,
from.
yep.
So thank you all for watching.
Yeah.
Gary, thank you so much.
You're
You're
welcome.
always wonderful to be on here. And we have fun just kind of being off the cuff and talking about important space history like we did today. So until tomorrow, I'm thanking Gary, I'm thanking Marty, and I'm thanking you all for watching. I'm Mark Marquette, and we'll see you tomorrow to bridge the space between us.